Welcome. Greetings from Change, a learning center for personal and organizational change management. The very title of this program reveals two absolute secrets governing human form of life. Creating awareness for life mastery is to mean that despite our mastery over material science, our life could be far from complete without a deep understanding within the spiritual dimension of human form of life. It is neither our brain nor our body which initiates the manifestation of our physical reality. It is not our perishable part which manifests our life in isolation of the spiritual forces within. It is the invisible, eternal spiritual forces within which manifest either a life of abundance and inner peace or a life of scarcity and inner turmoil, depending on our state of functioning. If you want to change your life in any direction, you need to work with these eternal, invisible spiritual forces which manifest your life. To achieve mastery over your life, therefore, we need to be in awareness of our spiritual dimension and how it functions. With this awareness, if you are consciously in harmony with our spiritual nature in our day-to-day life, we master our life. With your mastery over your life, scarcity and misery would dare to come near you, and the abundance and peace would not escape from you. The acronym CALM means the need for us to re-establish our relationship with the Supreme Power, the Infinite Intelligence, the Creator, God. When we are in relationship with God, we can access the Infinite Intelligence and prevent misery and suffering in our life. Re-establishing our relationship with the Supreme Power would be possible only when we attain freedom from our false self. Attaining freedom from our false self is a function of remaining calm. By disengaging ourselves with our false self, only in our state of disconnectedness from our false self, we can remain in connectedness with our true self, the powerful, immeasurable, indestructible inner being, as well as the Supreme Power, the God. The purpose of CALM program is to wake you up from your deep sleep in ignorance of your true self to the light of knowledge of who you truly are. This knowledge would dramatically alter your perspective of yourself and the rest of the universe. With such a powerful inner transformation, your behavior would be in alignment with your true self and true nature, with your divine role in the universe, with your infinite purpose of existence, and with your infinite power. With your dramatic behavior change, you would no more be in unconsciousness state and serve the limited purpose and attract misery and suffering in your life, but you would be in conscious state, serving your infinite purpose and experiencing abundance of physical prosperity, inner bliss, happiness, fulfillment, and peace. This CALM program is a tiny effort complementing the tireless and selfless efforts of thousands of people around the world to prevent human misery and suffering. When we see the world today, it is difficult for well-meaning people to remain undisturbed, unmoved, and irresponsible. Wars breaks out between nations, and tens of thousands of people die, and survivors suffer the loss of their dear and near ones and belongings. Thousands of people suffer from racial and ethnic discrimination. Nations suffer from unending terrorism in the name of religious fundamentalism. Tens of thousands of people experience unending suffering for decades due to cross border political terrorism and border disputes. Resource rich nations exploit resource poor nations. In the name of democracy, power being in the wrong hands, democratic institutions fail with widespread corruption, nepotism, non performance, and exploitation of resource poor people. Even judiciary and justice delivery system is unable to serve the common man. Politics of convenience result in robbery of power, stifling of democracy. Such a globally disturbing situation results from our collective behavior problem. The collective behavior of democratic organizations is inconsistent with the collective knowledge and wisdom expected of people whom we consider as our leaders and hand them our power to rule us. At individual level, barring a few exceptions, vast majority of us experience limitations and scarcity in one or other aspects of our life. Say, unfulfilled ambitions in education, profession, business, wealth, health, political status, and in relationship related matters. With our attitude of blaming others for our failure and for our situation, we fuel deep within hatred for others and accordingly cause misery and suffering to ourselves and others. Here it is our individual behavior which causes misery and suffering. Thus, the widespread human misery and suffering are the effects of our individual level and collective behavior inconsistent with our spiritual nature, our divine role in the universe, and our divine purpose of existence and our divine power. But the truth is that with the infinite power of consciousness we have been gifted in the grand creation, we are expected to be in possession of great power and knowledge and wisdom with which we can perform our divine role in the universe. We can easily serve the infinite divine purpose of our existence for the entire human race to experience physical abundance and inner peace and living in harmony. So why is the serious mismatch between our spiritual design and the physical reality we experience? We must inquire, introspect, and contemplate. The alarming proposition of human behavior is very well articulated by Eckhart Tolle in his book The Power of Now. He cautions the human race. He says, as a matter of urgency, we human beings need to attain freedom from our mind, else we will extinct from the planet. One who contemplates the world situation today very well realizes the absolute truth behind his statement. All religions emphasize the need for human being to live in consciousness of true self and to avoid misery and experience and live in abundance of peace and bliss. Every form of misery and suffering we experience is caused by our own behavior. Why do we behave the way we behave and attract suffering and misery for ourselves and others? Why not we behave in a way that our behavior attracts happiness and peace for everyone? While a few great souls have made infinite contribution to the universe and gone on history with name and fame, why vast majority of us behave in a self-limiting, self-defeating and self-destructive way and cause misery and suffering to us and to others? Our behavior is not the root cause of our misery and suffering. Our behavior is certainly the immediate cause of human misery and suffering, but the root cause of our behavior, which ultimately results in human misery and suffering, is our false identity. What is this false identity? False identity means we identify ourselves with an image which we are not. Somewhere along our unending journey of birth and death cycle, we have lost our memory of our divine origin, our divine sense of purpose, our divine sense of our role in the universe, our divine infinite power. With this unconsciousness of our true self, we have started identifying ourselves with a false image. Our false image of ourselves includes our name and form, religion, nationality, race, creed, color, caste, language, who we are and who we are not, what we are and what we are not, what we can do, achieve, experience and have, and what we cannot. Our labels and images of ourselves and others, as well as others' labels and images of us, are our false images. We, in our false image, remain excessively engaged in material aspects of our life, in competition with and in isolation of others, and in isolation of the rest of the universe, in our utter ignorance of the truth of universal oneness. It is in this accumulation spree for tomorrow we develop negative emotions of fear, fear-led greed, doubts, worry, confusion, and greed-led anger and anger-led jealousy. This is due to our false nature nurtured by our false self. Our true self, the immeasurable and indestructible inner being, our true nature, is untouched and unaffected by our material realm of our life. As long as we remain in our false identity and engaged in material aspects, we remain disconnected from our true self and our true nature. As we have been living in false identity from time immemorial, and with our continued state of disconnectedness from our true nature, eventually we have become the false image. The false self, in its characteristic psychological mode of functioning, keep exposing us to our past life of limitation, scarcity and misery, in contradiction with our spiritual nature, our spiritual purpose of our existence, and our infinite spiritual power. Our state of false identity-led disconnectedness causes our behavior counterproductive to our true nature of love, compassion, knowledge of truth, infinitely powerful, and happiness and bliss. Hence the inner conflict and turmoil. Like our immeasurable and indestructible inner being, the supreme power, the infinite intelligence, the God, is also untouched and inaccessible to us as long as we remain engaged with our material aspects of life. Thus, in the state of disconnectedness from our true self and true nature and the supreme power, we behave with our false identity-driven false image of who we are, what we are, and what we need, and unconsciously attract misery and suffering to ourselves and to the rest of the universe. We need to recognize that religion, nationality, color, creed, race, caste, language, rich and poor status, or the boundaries which we have created around ourselves in our false identity and are suffering from such false images from time immemorial. This is due to our false nature nurtured by our false self. The more we internalize this as we travel together in this enlightening program, the more would be the surging real power, the happiness and peace within and around us, and the more would be the prosperity we would be experiencing. In our upcoming sessions, we would learn more about the false image, its origin, its characteristic, why it is creating misery and suffering in our life, how to change it, how to change ourselves into true identity, what is the characteristic of true identity, and how, if we live in true identity, would create abundance and peace in our life, and how we can unleash the 7 supreme powers within, which are divine and spiritual, and how we can organize our life with 13 universal laws, which, whether you know them or not, whether you organize your life with them or not, have an impact in your life. So how to harmonize our life with these universal spiritual laws, and how to manage our life, how to manage stress in our life, how to manage emotions in our life, how to manage our mind all through our life, and many more spiritual topics we can learn and see the powerful inner transformation it is for you to experience. Thank you. Wishing you abundance. Hope to see you in our next session.